Welcome to the Deep Dive. We've got some fascinating source material today, all focused on, well, a West African country that seems full of surprises, Ivory Coast.
That's right. And our goal here, looking at these sources, is really to pull out the key takeaways about why Côte d'Ivoire is becoming, more than just a hidden gem. It's emerging as a really compelling travel destination.
Okay.
We'll dig into the key spots, the culture, and some practical advice for actually getting there and experiencing it yourself.
Great. So let's dive in. The sources immediately paint a picture of Ivory Coast's location, right there in West Africa, and emphasize its richness, both naturally and culturally. Sounds like it offers quite a mix.
Oh, absolutely. You get this immediate sense from the material of incredible diversity. Like golden beaches giving way to these deep, lush rainforests further inland. Plus, you've got these really vibrant cities alongside a very deep cultural heritage. It's that range that seems to be a big part of the appeal.
And the sources also mention a specific blend. Something about traditional African culture meeting French colonial influence. How does that play out?
Yeah, that seems crucial to its identity. According to the sources, you see it everywhere in the buildings. You hear it in the language, the music. You can definitely taste it in the food.
Right.
It's not one thing or the other, but this kind of unique fusion. And importantly, the sources also note that the country's tourism infrastructure is improving. More quality options, better roads in places. It feels like a conscious effort to welcome more visitors.
Okay, so the potential is actively being developed. That's good to know for anyone considering it. Where do the sources suggest we start exploring within the country?
Well, it makes sense to start with Abidjan, the economic powerhouse. The sources actually call it the Paris of West Africa. That nickname alone says something, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Paris evokes style, energy, maybe sophistication. Does Abidjan match that description in the sources?
In its own way, yes, but with a distinct West African vibe, The sources describe it as super lively, very modern in parts with these impressive skyscrapers.
Right.
Plus, world-class restaurants are popping up, there's a buzzing nightlife. But it's not all concrete. It's built around these really stunning lagoons, which adds this natural element right in the city.
Wow, lagoons and skyscrapers. That's quite the contrast. Any specific must-sees mentioned for Abidjan?
Yeah, a few key areas. The Plateau District is flagged as the main business hub, tall buildings, chic cafes.
Right.
Then there's St. Paul's Cathedral, noted for its really bold modern architecture. But maybe the most unique thing is Banco National Park.
Banco?
Yeah, the sources describe it as an actual urban rainforest. Ecotourism right inside the city limits. You don't find that often.
A rainforest in the city. That's amazing.
Right.
Truly distinctive. What about places for, say, upscale shopping or dining?
For that, the sources point to neighborhoods like Côte and Marcury. They're mentioned as the go-to spots for higher-end experiences. So Abidjan sounds like this really dynamic, complex place, modern, but green too. Okay, so from the economic center, the sources then shift focus inland to Yamoussoukro. That's the political capital. And this is where we find that structure you hinted at.
The one described as jaw-dropping.
That's the one, the Basilica of Our Lady of Peace. The source material is quite specific, noting it's actually larger than St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican.
Larger than St. Peter's. Wow.
Yeah, just think about the statement that makes, right? Building something on that scale. It definitely makes you ponder the history and ambition behind it.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What else stands out about Yamoussoukro in the sources?
Well, besides the basilica, there's the presidential palace. And get this, right nearby there's a lake full of crocodiles.
Crocodiles! Seriously, near the palace.
Seriously, it's one of those details from the sources that just, it sticks with you. That mix of formal state power and raw nature.
Definitely memorable.
The sources also mention the area around Yamoussoukro has quite scenic roads, making it good for road trips, maybe a quieter kind of exploration. Then, heading back towards the sea, the sources guide us to Grand-Bassam. And this isn't just any coastal town. It's listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Okay, UNESCO. That usually signals major historical or cultural significance, right? Needs preservation.
Exactly. And for Grand-Bassam, according to the sources, it's mostly about its rich colonial past. It's described as really charming, with lots of well-preserved French colonial buildings.
Visual history.
Yeah, you can really picture walking through history there. But it's not just buildings. It also boasts these wide, sandy beaches. So history meets the Atlantic.
Nice combination. Any specific spots highlighted there?
The sources mention the National Costume Museum, which sounds interesting, the Pont de la Victoire Bridge, and also the local artisan markets places to find crafts, fabrics, that sort of thing.
A good mix of culture, history, and coast. Makes sense. Now, the sources also mentioned going west towards Man, the gateway to the mountains.
Right. This sounds like the spot for travelers looking for something different, more nature-focused, maybe a bit cooler. Man is situated in the Western Highlands, surrounded by mountains and waterfalls.
So think hiking, nature lovers.
Precisely. Ideal for hiking, seeking tranquility, getting away from the bustle. The sources specifically mention Mount Tonkui and Mount Tura for hiking.
Okay.
And also La Dent de Man, the Tooth of Man, which is this really prominent rocky peak. Sounds like a landmark for trekking. Plus, the waterfalls of Man are mentioned for, a refreshing stop.
A completely different vibe from Abidjan or the coast. And finally, there's a major natural site. The sources cover Taï National Park.
Yes, and this one also has UNESCO status, but as a Natural World Heritage Site. Its significance, according to the sources, is huge. It's one of the last major tracts of primary rainforest left in West Africa.
Primary rainforest, meaning ancient, largely untouched forest.
Exactly, increasingly rare globally. And the sources emphasize its importance for wildlife.
Like what kind of wildlife? Anything specific mentioned?
Definitely. It mentions endangered species like the pygmy hippo, which is incredible.
Wow.
Also, chimpanzees, known for their tool use in that area, and just a huge diversity of rare birds and plants you won't find elsewhere. It's positioned as a key spot for serious ecotourism, wildlife watching, a real natural treasure. So, quite a journey across the country described in these sources. Cities, history, mountains, rainforest. But what about, the flavors and the feel of the place, the culture?
Ah, yes, the food always comes up. The sources describe Ivorian cuisine as this really delightful mix, local ingredients, rich flavors. Any specific dishes we should know about? 3
really jump out from the source material. First, atiake. It's described as a fermented cassava couscous, kind of a staple side dish.
Okay, cassava couscous. Interesting.
Then there's aloko, basically fried plantains. Sounds simple, but often served seasoned, maybe with grilled fish, a popular snack or side.
Fried plantains are always good.
And the third is kejinu. This sounds really flavorful. It's a slow-cooked chicken or sometimes guinea fowl stew, cooked with vegetables in a sealed pot, so all the flavors really meld together.
Sounds delicious. And what about the culture beyond food? The people, the atmosphere.
The sources consistently highlight the warmth and hospitality of Ivorians. That really comes across as a key part of the experience.
That's always good to hear.
And there's mention of a vibrant art scene, especially music. The sources specifically name-check Coupé décalé.
Coupé décalé.
Yeah, it's this energetic, modern dance music genre that actually originated in Ivory Coast, but has become huge across the region and beyond. It suggests a really lively contemporary culture.
Warm people, great food, lively music, adds a lot to the picture.
Oh.
Okay, let's shift to practicalities. If someone's inspired by all this, when's the best time to actually go, according to the sources?
The clear recommendation is the dry season that runs roughly from November through April. That period generally offers the most comfortable weather, think sunny days, less humidity, minimal rain. Ideal for pretty much any activity, from exploring cities to hitting the beaches or even hiking.
Makes sense. And other practical tips from the sources. Currency, language, getting around.
Right, the essentials. Currency is the West African CFA franc XOF. Official language is French, and this is important. The sources note English isn't widely spoken outside of maybe some tourist hotspots.
So brush up on French or get a translation app.
Yeah, or consider a local guide. Definitely recommended for easier communication. For transport, there are domestic flights between main cities, plus buses and taxis. And good news, the sources say the main roads connecting major cities are generally in good condition.
That helps. Health precautions.
Yellow fever vaccination is required to enter the country. And as with most international trips, travel insurance is highly recommended. Standard, but important stuff.
Absolutely. Now, the sources we looked at also mentioned a specific resource for planning a trip like this. FlightInitHotels.com. What do they say about it?
Yeah, it was presented as a kind of one-stop shop for travel planning. A global booking portal designed to make things easier.
So, booking flights, hotels.
Flights, hotels, and rental cars, too, apparently. The idea highlighted in the source is that you can compare a lot of options in one place.
Aiming for convenience and maybe saving some money.
Exactly. The source mentions searching hundreds of airlines for flights, including into Abidjan, a wide range of hotels, from luxury to budget, easy car rental booking.
Okay.
Plus features like booking from anywhere, paying in your own currency. The main benefits emphasized were saving time and money, transparent pricing, maybe finding some exclusive discounts. Seems geared towards making the whole planning process smoother, whether you're going solo or with family.
Useful to know about resources like that. So bringing it all together, what's the main takeaway from this deep dive into the sources on Ivory Coast?
I think it really drives home that this is a country with incredible diversity that maybe flies under the radar for many travelers. You've got the sheer dynamism of Abidjan with its unique urban rainforest, contrasted with the deep history of Grand-Bassam, the stunning nature in Man and Taï National Park, and these really unique cultural landmarks like the Basilica or, the Crocodile Lake in Yamoussoukro.
It's the place of contrasts.
Definitely. A rich mix of urban excitement, cultural depth, natural beauty, and historical layers. The source is painted as a really compelling West African destination that's, ready for discovery.
A country just waiting for you to explore it. And as the sources suggest, with tools like flightandhotels.com, planning that exploration seems more straightforward than ever.
It certainly looks that way based on the material.
Okay, here's a final thought to leave you with based on everything we discussed from the sources. Isn't it fascinating how one single country can contain such extremes? A city like Abidjan, a real economic engine with skyscrapers, and an urban rainforest, side by side with the political capital, Yamoussoukro, boasting one of the world's biggest churches next to a lake full of crocodiles. What does that kind of sheer diversity, that blend of modern, natural, historic, and just plain unexpected really tell you about the character, the soul of a place? Something to ponder.